Alright, try two. Apologies to Manti, who I know will watch this. So, I was just recapping the top 5 worst tech tree tanks, most power crept, lowest stats, just tanks that have suffered for a long time. So, right into it, we've got number 5, the VK 45.02A. This tank, I've said it a few times, it's a heavium. The tank is not a heavy, it's a heavium. Your gun stats, you can see, I have the stat page up here. DPM, penetration, accuracy, like, your gun is quite decent for the tier. Because it's a heavium, and it plays like it, it shows. So, you've got decent gun, got decent accuracy, dispersion is mediocre, your aim time is fairly good, like it's quite a bit better than the other German compatriot in the VK100, and the Tiger 2 has the same sort of accuracy. So, gun-wise, it's running close to even, slightly worse than the Tiger 2. The Tiger 2, obviously, the thing with the Tiger is, it's this tank, but it has armor. So you see, Pointer here is really dealing with, the enemy team doesn't have the heavies. Like, they have a Ferdinand and a T-29 are their heavily armored vehicles, so he's up against this M41. This is what this tank excels with. It's fairly mobile. It can deal with the lights. It can deal with the mediums. But as soon as you get into the heavies, it's like, take a look at the armor. Take a look at the armor down here. 185mm hull and 80 on the sides. On the turret, that was the turret actually, wasn't it? Yeah, that's turret armor. So the turret is 185 on the front, 80 on the sides. The Tiger 2 immediately, 220 on the front, 100 on the sides. The hull is 120mm. That's nothing. That's nothing for tier 8. Like, the Tiger 2 has 160, the upper plate slope is so much better. And like, it doesn't even compare to the VK100. So, stats-wise, this is a medium. This tank is a medium. That's how it should be played. Not as a heavy, as a medium. And Pointer really shows this. Like, Pointer struggled slightly earlier, but what's left is a T-29, which is a lower tier heavy. So, see, you can even see in the stats here, like, the Tiger used to be miles below, but it's gone way up. It's at 54%. This tank has been chilling just at 50%. Just barely at 51%. So, the VK45, like, actually, the KV2 has been struggling more, but at the same time, the reason why I didn't include the KV4 here is it's getting buffed. Like, the KV4 is getting, I think, 30mm or something added to its front. But see, watch here, bam! Look at that shot! This tank is so accurate! Like, it doesn't seem like it, but it's really got the German accuracy. So, at this stage in the match, sorry, pressing tab there, it's the SU-12244, he's in the platoon, again, with the T-29, which means they know what they're doing. Oh, so there he is. Got that unfortunate miss, but luckily enough, he has a T-25 too, he got the clear. So, here's the thing, that's a big match, that's an exceptional match in the tank, but there wasn't any really big heavies on the enemy team, which those tanks do bully out. So, on to number 4. Number 4 is the T-11-0E4. And I have Metalmouth from Aster has helped out a lot with replays. I think he actually has 4 of them. So, props to this man for sending me these masochistic tanks, masochistic replays. So, let's check out the stats here. Right off the bat, I haven't included every single TD at the tier, but immediately, aiming arc is good because it has a turret, but it's not fully turreted. The turret has a 90-degree rotation. It has, by quite a bit, the lowest DPM of the tier. And, like, accuracy-wise, so the aim time, 2.45, pretty standard. The Foch has better, the Hori and Object have better. Dispersion, it's the worst. It's got worse dispersion than the Jagdpanzer E100, which is, technically speaking, a derp gun. Sorry. So, gun-wise, the gun is decent. I mean, it's a 152mm. Oof, that was unfortunate. But it's also a very unreliable 152. Like, the accuracy is not very good. So going over to mobility, the mobility is bad. Like the Foch is much better, the 26A is much better, the Hovey is better. Those three are the mobile. Let me grab another tank. Let me pop in its other American compatriot, the favored American brother, the T110E3. So the E3 obviously is the exact same gun. It has better accuracy, better gun depression, which, how does it have better depression and elevation when the E4 is a turreted tank? Like, hello? Doesn't have good arc because it's a turretless tank, but it has armor. Like, there we go, 305 frontal armor. The sides and rear are the exact same because they're based on the same chassis, if I recall. But the frontal armor. Let's take a peek here. Oh, didn't get much of a peek, but the armor on this tank, the frontal armor does nothing. You have the cupola, which on the E3, the cupola is broken. The cheeks are so easy to pen. The lower plate is the same because it's based on the same chassis, but having a turret, it doesn't cut it. So number 3 on my list here is the AT7. So the AT7, it's got frontal armor. Supposedly, it's got frontal armor, it's got a cupola, and it's got DPM. But let's look here. Wait, DPM. It has 2700 DPM, but every single, not just some of them, every single TD at the tier has more DPM. Penetration is good. It does have that over the rest of them. So the penetration is fantastic on this tank. I will give it that. 190 alpha isn't a crazy alpha, but it's supposed to be a DPM tank. This tank needs to have higher DPM to be viable, and also accuracy. Somehow they just, like, everything except for the 34 2G has a better aim time. The dispersion, it has the best dispersion at the team because, again, it's a DPM tank. You're supposed to drive forward and just get shots off. So dispersion, yeah, is pretty good. On movement, is pretty good. Depression, elevation. Depression, it has equal to or the worst at the tier, which, like, 5 degrees. See, this is what the tank can do. But here's the issue. Like, yes, it has DPM. You can do this kind of thing. You can really bully. Like, that's 800 damage into that poor M6A2E1. But you have that cupola. That disgusting, disgusting cupola. That cupola will get penned every time. Like, they buffed the 88 cupola and side armor, or frontal-ish armor, that it can do stuff, but that's the thing. It can only do some stuff. Not much. And then you look at the mobility. 20 kilometers per hour forward, 10 kilometers per hour rear. Wow. Like, that is horrible. The engine, the mobility is horrible. And hull armor, yes, it has good hull armor. Yes, technically speaking, 200 millimeters does work, but it's not enough. It's flat plates. Premium will pen. Every time any tank fires premium, like, let's look up here. So the penetration is already around 200 for all of these. Let's pop over to heat. 250, 265, 255, 258, 245. Like, everything pens it. It's supposed to be the armored pew pew DPM gun. It doesn't have that. It doesn't get the bounce, doesn't get the shots. Win rate rise, it's not horrible. It's actually got a 50.75 win rate, which, like, technically speaking, by those numbers, the AMX M446 is worse. Or sorry, the AMX AC46 is worse. The T25-2 is worse, but it doesn't suit its role. You want to rush, you want to be the front line, the beef, but it doesn't do that. So this tank, it needs a bit of a rework to be viable. The next tank on the list, I assume everyone can guess the last 2 tanks on this list. Number 2 for me is the T28. Yes, the American monstrosity T28. On paper, so let's look at this tank on paper. On paper, this tank is actually outstanding. It has the best DPM, almost the best penetration of most of the tier. I actually did not add the ISU 152 for some idiotic reason. Let me grab that. Just me things. So, ISU 152. The 152 is like top of the meta. So, there we go. Yeah, it has better DPM, it has better penetration, it has better alpha. That's the BL10. That's a tier 10 gun, but this is also a tier 10 gun. That's the thing. So you have to spend 75k. So Metalmouth, again, Metalmouth is stock. He is running not the 120mm, but the small gun. the 90mm. That tank, that gun, stock, like look at this. I'm on double speed. This is standard speed for a stock on this tank. This is why this tank is bad. Not because it has bad gun, not because the armor is unreliable, but because the grind is so long and it's just, it doesn't get much better. So let's move on to the other stats. Aim time, again, the aim time isn't amazing, it isn't bad. Dispersion, I found American tanks often struggle with dispersion. However, the other 152s, like the T-28 has worse dispersion, the ISU and the RHM both have worse dispersion. But like the depression, elevation, like gun handling in general in this tank. So you see, like, this is the T-28. It should be getting all the bounces. Everything should be getting bounced. He's gonna push up into here, like, he's getting bounces, but as soon as he pushes up, watch, he's gonna push up. Metalmouth is a really experienced TD player, so he knows what he's doing. But that's the thing, like, it's so immobile. That is a lucky bounce. He knows what he's doing, so he is getting the bounces, but he just dies. He deals 2200 damage and then dies. Let's watch through the rest of this. He held long enough that his team can catch up and win, but the rest of the stats, like, the camo is the worst at the tier. Or, sorry, the camo isn't the worst. The camo is the second best at the tier, actually, after the RHM, which is known for its legendary camo, but mobility, not there. Armor, it seems to be there, but it's... If you want to have armor, just classify it as a heavy. Just classify the tank as a heavy tank. Like... See, that just proves it. See, the thing is, it's a TD, but it has heavy armor, but the heavy armor does not act as a heavy armor. It's another, I kind of call it a flex roll. Like, it flexes to fit multiple rolls, but it doesn't do it well enough. So it's holding below 50% average win rate. It's holding at a 49.78 average win rate, where all of these other ones, 41, 42, and a 43 on the WZ-111 1G. So, just, this tank, the issue is the lower plate is just flat out 250mm. Let's pop up here. The 111 1G can't. The AMX AC48 can pen it without Pramo. Obviously BL10 easily can't. And then you swap to Pramo, 300, 330, 311, 320. All of these tanks will pen it with ease. With ease. It's not even like you have to aim. You press your 2 key and you fire. So the last tank on this list, you've probably guessed it, the VK30.02D. Again, this is a tank that, on paper, the stats don't look horrible. It's got decent DPM, 2300 DPM, it's less than the Panther one and the Comet. Penetration is ridiculously brutal. Like, you think the Comet suffers for penetration. This thing has less penetration. It has 220 alpha, which is kind of like a... What is that alpha? Why is it... It's not 160, it's not 190, it's not 225, 260, whatever. It's 220 alpha. Reload wise, or rate of fire, so it gets 10 shots out per minute. So essentially it has a, what is it, 6.3? Oh wow. Is Metalmouth? This is Metalmouth again, by the way. He's helped me out a lot in this. He's actually running... He's running the stock gun, I think, right now. Yeah, he's running the stock gun, so he has a high reload, but it's like a 6.2, 6.3 second reload. But here's the thing about this tank. It's the traverse. Like, no mod traverse, that's not it. Actually not listed on the Blitz stars, but the turret traverse, like, you can see this. This is double speed traverse. This is single speed traverse. Look at how slow the turret is turning. This is a heavy. This is a heavy tank traverse. This isn't... No, correction. This is better than heavy tank traverse. This is the worst turret traverse at the tier. Like, what? What? Speed, the mobility is decent. It's better than most of the tanks at the tier. Horsepower per ton, it's mess. So it accelerates fairly slowly. The turret traverse is like, what the hell is this? It doesn't have the trolley arm. Like, it has 80mm of hull, 120mm on the turret. Everything will pen that. So you're not gonna get this. You're not gonna get bounces. You're not going to get bounces. Period. Which, yeah, okay, it's kind of to be expected. You're medium. Okay, that was. Why does he always do that? Why does he always make me eat my words? But whatever the case, like, you don't have the armor, you don't have the mobility. It needs a little something. It's like, let's go down to the win rates. It's holding at 51%, but the rest of the tier, like 57, 53, 54.5, 56.8, like all of these tanks are holding at a steady win rate, and this is just 51%. So Metal Mouth is in this 1v1 here, and it's a hard one to win. Like, there's an SU-152 and a Dicker Max. Like, those two tanks, they'll pen him with ease without even trying. So that's the thing with this tank. There's nothing special. Yeah, see? It's just, you don't have the armor, you just die, and his team loses here. Or maybe not. Maybe the SU-152 might have just clutched. No. Like, if that tank had better anything, it just needs something little. Like, a gun that stands out in some sort of way. Maybe, like, add 50 penetration to it. Like, screw it and throw just 50 pen at it. It's a German gun. It can take that. Or give it more, like, give it armor. Make it more like the Panther. But overall, here, I can pop over here. This tank, it doesn't have much going for it, if anything at all. Like, I avoid this line fully. It's supposed to be, it leads into the Leopard 1. It's supposed to be the mobile, you can do the crazy stuff with it. But, gun turn limit, okay, turret turn rate, 25 degrees per second. That means to do a full rotation of the turret, 360 degrees, that takes over 10 seconds. That takes 14 seconds? Like, what? That alone makes the tank bad. So, that's the top 5, in my opinion, tech tree tanks that need buffs. Those are the 5 tanks: the VK45A, the T11OE4, the AT7, the T28, and the VK3002D. Those, in my opinion, are the worst 5 tanks in the game. Thank you for watching. I hope you stayed till the end. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day or night wherever you are.